A volcanic archipelago, like a dragon plunged into the water from which only the ridges emerge. Japan is a land of snow and mountains, filled with fire. Mostly known for its overcrowded coastal plains, and yet 70% of this territory is made up of these heights. They dispense their wealth, water, wood. Volcanic, they are sources of energy and also of danger. Sacred, they keep the traditions and are inhabited by the gods. I decided to trek in the mountains to discover this alternative Japan, wild and unknown, before attempting at the end of my journey, while spring will be chasing away the winter, to climb the most sacred, mythical, and highest of them all, Mount Fuji. First view from above. Tokyo, the most populated metropolis in the world. In Japan, more than a quarter of the population lives in 2% of the country. Man has colonized the narrow areas of plains between the waters. In Tokyo Bay, artificial islands are linked by suspended highways, towers, an inextricable web of concrete. Constructions are pressed or almost nested together. On landing, I am struck by the buzzing city. Even at ground level, Japanese vertigo grips me. On my first night in the capital, the taxi takes me to a kapuseru hoteru, a typical Japanese concept. A capsule hotel designed to make the most of the space, which is now precious. I'm entering my apartment. 1 cubic meter for the night. I sneak into my pod, ready for my great journey. I'm going to leave Tokyo to study the mountains of Honshu, the main island. Then I'll discover Hokkaido. And it will end with the Mount Fuji. In the morning, I dive into the bowels of the city, trying to reach Tokyo Station. I thought I was going the right way, but got lost again. The crowd led me to a yellow stuffed animal.
We're lining up to take pictures with the mascot, Pom Pom Pirin. It's because it's very popular.
The girl's style of dressing also intrigues me.
It's the Lolita style. Lolita!
Lolita style, of course. Its followers try to look like Victorian dolls to fight against the standardization of society. It's definitely not here that I'll find what I'm looking for. But I finally get a hint to make me feel I'm on the right track. I want to go to Mount Takao, the mountain closest to the capital and very popular with the Tokyoites to get out on the weekend and leave the city. A small group formed at the exit of the station attracts my curiosity. Let me get closer.
My name is Amemiya, and I'm in charge of today's hike. First of all, thank you for your participation. I will ask you to walk in 2 lines, 1 line for the boys and the other for the girls. Today there are almost 20 single people, men and women, participating in the hiking. They are going to climb the Takao mountain together and take a break at the top to eat some cakes, and then maybe they will exchange contacts. Then they'll go back home.
It's an outing organized by a speed dating agency. Better than a restaurant or a bar, it seems the mountain helps these encounters.
People reveal themselves when they're up against the mountain. There can be some challenging situations, so it enables the men and women to weave a stronger intimacy. While facing obstacles, their characters reveal themselves. There are some things I'd like you to pay attention to. In principle, we'll go slowly, but there still are steep slopes. If you feel unwell, signal to one of the organizers. Since the road conditions are not very good, try not to be on your mobile phone for safety.
The organizers are turning up the pressure. There's nothing like a little adrenaline to unify the group. So before the challenging hike, a good warm-up with a designated guide is essential. The mountain is taken very seriously here.
Miho. My name is Miho Koneki. Is this your first time hiking?
Yes, it is.
Same for me. Actually, some people at my work lent me the equipment.
Yes, I can tell you're very well equipped.
The hiking is not really extreme, though. It's gently sloping down a tarmac road. Amemiya, the organizer, times it, and every 7 minutes, they switch partners.
Time's up. Partner switch. Hold it right there.
Thank you very much.
Well, the hike's getting hot.
At the start of the hike, they were a girl short. So I end up playing the game, and I do my best mixing English and Japanese.
We're doing this because they say that if you go through the hall and ring the bell, your wishes will be granted. Thank you very much. I think people talk more in mountains than in bars because they're doing something together. So they have common topics to talk about. For me, the mountains are not a place of worship, but rather a place for sport and leisure. Feel free to get in touch with people. Maybe you already have mutual friends. Share your contacts. That's how relationships start. Come on, boys. Go and invite girls. I don't know how we exchange contacts. Wait, what's this? I don't know how to do it on that screen. I can't read the code. Ah, it's working. I got it.
Leisure, tourism, sport. Different pursuits are intertwined and intersect. Everyone has their reason for coming here. But the Buddhist lanterns, the deities, and ex-votos always remind us that despite everything, the mountain is still a sacred place. Therefore, under the eye of Tengu, god of the mountains and forest, Ichiro invites me to a ritual, to make a wish to give to the mountains.
It is called gomagi. You write down wishes on one side, and on the other, your name and age. Do you want to make a wish?
I'd like to climb the Mount Fuji at the end of my trip. Can you write that down for me?
Put your name here and age there.
My name is Sibylle. Sibylle. Sibylle.
Sibylle.
What's that supposed to mean?
Ascent of Mount Fuji.
So after this, I give it to
And then what shall I do with it?
Put it here. We'll burn it.
I find out there's a ceremony being prepared. A fire ritual perpetuated by the followers of Shugendo, a specifically Japanese branch of Buddhism who worship the mountains and practices asceticism.
For us, mountains are sacred places. It is important to give them grace with prayers for everything they give us. It's in the mountains that lie the roots of all kinds of life, such as trees, birds, and insects. We cut down the trees to make these talismans, and those wooden pieces the mountain gave us are going to be burned by the holy fire of the Buddha. We're going to try to make sure the pain and bad memories become the source of energy that will encourage us to go on living. That is the aim of this ritual.
Very near to Tokyo, the Mount Takao is said to be the most visited mountain in the world, with over 2 million visitors a year. So the Buddhist ceremony attracts an eclectic crowd. Among the Japanese, religion, superstition, and various beliefs blend together, but not in a confrontational way. The big crowd does not preclude the solemnity of the moment. This Takao fire ritual only takes place once a year. For the followers, it is a stage in their journey on the sacred mountain path. They also celebrate their connection to nature. Some talismans are exposed to smoke to take the power of fire. They will then have the power to prevent fires in homes. Thousands of prayers and wishes, in order to be fulfilled, will have to be burnt. The adepts then devote themselves to walking on fire. They invite spectators to do the same, with some unexpected good luck charms.
It's true that we're taught to think that prayer must happen in peace. So this ritual, so lively and festive, may seem a little strange. But the passion and strength that dwells in the human spirit, why wouldn't it look like the power of that fire?
Then comes my turn to take the embers path. Feet in the hot ashes, in the heart of the smoke, I feel the spirit of the mountains permeating me. Like an initiation, my journey has now begun. I leave Tokyo, the Mount Takao, and its entire urban periphery. I'm finally entering the wilder heart of the country, in the mountains.
Turn left in 700 meters.
I'm on my way to the Mount Adatara volcanic chain. Above 300 meters altitude, the snow is a reminder that winter is not over yet. I arrived yesterday at the Lodge Numijiri Kogen in the Fukushima region, where Junko Tabi, the famous Japanese mountaineer, hosts a group today.
Hello. Welcome.
At 75 years old, Junko is still a ball of energy with a great sense of organization and humor.
Hi, does everyone have gloves and hats? You can leave your lunch boxes here. Don't worry, no one's going to steal them. We'll eat in the canteen. The first group will be led by my son Shinya Tabi, for whom I'm going to file a missing persons report. He's missing, but I'll introduce him to you later. In any case, he will guide Group 1.
Junko Tabai is not just any mountaineer. She's carved her name into history by being the first woman in the world to conquer Everest in 1975.
That's the headline. A Japanese team of women has reached the summit of Everest. See, it made the front page of the newspaper with pictures of all the team members. In the 60s, there were very few female climbers. There was social pressure for women to be the one taking care of the family, and the men were working. It was a lot more cutthroat than it is now. Men really didn't want women to enter this male world.
A man's world that the Japanese woman from a reputedly macho society managed to dominate from the top. So we climb the stairs and go back in time. Junko takes me to the parlor, where she keeps her memories. A true cabinet of curiosity, where she keeps the memories of her expeditions.
This shows how poor we were when we went to Mount Everest. It's a glove that we made ourselves out of car covers. Since my husband worked for a car company, he took slip covers from all of his coworkers. We cut them up and sewed it into gloves. This is a real memory, especially since no one today wouldn't take such thin gloves as this to go to Everest.
Everest, where she reached the level of the greatest, like the Italian Reynold Messner.
I don't think I really changed after climbing Everest. I was just glad I made it to the top. But the people around me have changed a lot. The ones who thought it was impossible for women really changed their mind. They spoke to me differently. I was very surprised.
With her feet, the young climber has shook up the well-entrenched traditions of the past. Before leaving to go hiking, a little ritual, a group warm-up. Nothing extreme. We're a long way from the Himalayas, despite the snow and the cold. I take the opportunity on the way to get to know some of the leaders.
I'm from a small village called Okuma, from Fukushima Prefecture. That's where the nuclear power plant is. I was working in my garden behind my house when the earthquake shook us. The tremors were so huge that I clung to a tree. I was afraid the roof of my house would come off. And the next morning, the people of the town were calling out over the loudspeakers to get out of the village. I think that I won't go back again. Since then, I've totally lost connection with nature. I also lost the opportunity to interact with the people of the village.
Cheese!
So this kind of excursion is really important to me.
The marching group is in fact exclusively made up of people who had to flee their village after the Fukushima disaster, triggered by a powerful earthquake in 2011.
When the earthquakes hit Japan in March 2011, I wondered what I could do. I couldn't go out into the field and save people myself, like the Self-Defense Force does. But hiking with refugees, that I could do. So I talked to people in the shelters about it, and they thought it was a good idea. The participants told me that it felt good to walk in the forest, that it gave them courage.
The mountain heals the soul. Junko knows how much the mountains can offer natural resources, but also deep spirituality.
Group 1, return your rackets to the hut, please.
So she shares with the others the benefits of the mountains. I'm going back filled up with the energy drawn from the walk. I get that life force back in the many rivers that crisscross this mountainous Japan. The country has plenty of water, thanks to the springs that come from its heights. They irrigate the rice fields and feed the cities of the land. In one of these narrow valleys shaped by a river hides a traditional thatched house. This is home to one of Japan's most famous beverages. The boss of the family business is waiting for me. I'm now used to ritual greetings, and I'm now equipped with the essential accessory in Japan, the business card, which I take to hand and can even draw faster than the person I'm talking to. Let's go. I'm not even surprised anymore either by the group warm-up, which apparently precedes all activity in Japan.
Hello.
Hello.
Fermentation officer, do you have any questions? Oh, not really. If you've nothing to say, I'd like to get to work. Let's go.
This morning marks the beginning of the long transformation process to obtain the fermented rice drink.
There are 3 stages in the fermentation of sake. What we're going to do today is the first step. The rice is steamed for an hour before being put into the vats.
Our region produced a lot of rice at the end of the 19th century, at the time when the distillery was founded. They say the elders wondered, what else will we do with this rice? And to answer the question, they decided to start making sake.
Staple food of the Japanese, the rice is thus consumed in every way, eaten or drunk.
The rice that is being steamed is a special rice for sake production. It is called sakamai. Normal rice grains stick to your hand if you crush them. But these, look at it. They don't stick at all. So the effect of fermentation is well distributed over each grain. It's very important to make a sake of quality.
And with Tomohiko, you'd better keep up.
Let's go. We're going to the source, right behind the entrance where you took your shoes off.
In order to make sake, another raw material is even more crucial than rice.
The most important thing for sake makers is the quality of the water. We use it at all stages of the manufacturing process.
Water that Tomohiko immediately offers me to taste.
It's a water-abundant region because we're here in the mountains. So there's a lot of snow and rain falling. It's absorbed by the ground, who gives it back to us.
But rice and water would be nothing without the gods. Shintoism is part of the everyday life. According to these animist beliefs, there are more than 8 million gods, the kamis. They're embodied in all the elements of nature.
Sake and the gods have always been inseparable. Priests never perform a ritual without sake. Rice fields have a specific god, and so does water. It is thanks to these gods that rice is produced, and it's from this rice that we make sake. So we give this sake back to the gods, We thank them, and that's the end of the cycle.
I let the gods taste their sake, and since I'll be driving, I'm unfortunately forbidden to join them. I'm driving through the heart of snow country, an official name in Japan for those areas where there is very heavy snow in the winter, which disturbs people's lives and their work. But snow can also be a valuable resource. I'm expected in a house, and I'm complying with another immutable ritual in Japan, putting slippers on. I'm led down the hall to a strange puppet. He's the boss of the small weaving business. Good morning.
Good morning. It is a stage in the manufacture of our fabric. We're walking on fabric so that the stitches can be tightened. The mesh size has to be really small. It is a traditional manufacturing technique, to the extent that it has been classified as Japan's intangible cultural property. This is one of the origins of Japanese weaving.
But still, sometimes tradition makes some concessions to modernity.
We're going to take the next step, the Yukizarashis. We're going to go to the mountains. We do it every year during the snow season.
The Yukizarashi have an intriguing stage of weaving that has to happen in the mountains. We're heading to the heights to find the ideal place with enough snow.
The wind starts blowing. When the sun's heat melts the snow, it evaporates. Steam passes through the mesh of the fabric. There are chemical reactions that occur which bleach the fabric. Put some snow on the fabric so it doesn't fly away.
For several afternoons, the fabric is exposed for this ultimate stage of snow bleaching. After long months of weaving during the winter, the inhabitants enjoy the sunshine when the fabrics come out. It was a sign of the arrival of spring in the land of snow. From Honshu, the main island, I'm flying to Hokkaido, more precisely to Niseko, one of the most famous ski resorts in Japan. Its heavy snow attracts visitors from all over the world, looking for white powder. On the volcanic slopes of Mount Niseko on Apuri, between 300 and 1,300 meters of altitude, the whole Asia-Pacific is running down the slopes.
From the top to here, it takes about 20 minutes. But be careful in the mountains. Okay. Have a nice day.
Akio Shinya is one of the deans of the station.
Let's go. Go
Still
on.
a tracker at almost 70, with stories of the history of the mountain.
100 years ago, many Japanese soldiers died in the mountains in winter. They had an accident. Europeans were very surprised by this accident. Then an Austrian major named Lech was sent to Japan to teach Japanese soldiers how to ski.
Born under the impulse of the Europeans, skiing fashion boomed in Japan in the 80s before spreading slowly to the Japanese. This is why Niseko is now focusing on tourism of foreigners. Akio gets to the snowplow for his daily watch and takes me on board. After climbing the peaks of the world, the mountaineer now devotes himself to his mountain and the safety of others on his home island.
I'm going to check the snow conditions so that the skiers don't have an accident. The area I'm in charge of is all that.
Hokkaido faces Russia, from where the Siberian winds blow, creating this climate so dry that makes the powder the lightest in the world, according to myth.
That's him. I'm checking to see if the anemometer at the top is working properly. It looks like it's working, but I'm not sure what number it says.
Sure, I'll see you down there.
In Akio's domain, I enjoy the privilege of the mountain people to dominate the plain and to indulge himself in space. The ultimate luxury, especially in Japan.
Many people come to Niseko because they want to go off-piste to enjoy the powder. In the other ski resorts, they very often restrict that freedom. But we try to guarantee the safety of the skiers while respecting their freedom. For us, and for mankind in general, freedom is very important.
Then Akio offers me a shot of freedom off the beaten track, in the backcountry, off-piste. A slalom in the middle of nature between birch and fir trees.
I like very much this course.
I leave the wide open spaces of Hokkaido by plane. And I land in the heart of steaming mountains. Is that why this place is called Hell Valley? The smoke of pristine white doesn't seem threatening, though. I'm guided by a network of pipes to find its origin.
What you see here, it's the well that draws steam from 1,000 to 2,000 meters deep. The steam that comes out of the well goes through these silver pipes. They lead to the plant, which produces electricity with this steam to power the entire region.
Here, gold is not black, but white, like snow or like this water vapor. The burning breath exhaled from the volcanic heart of the mountains is transformed into energy. So I'm once again following the vital arteries where this flow is flowing to discover a geothermal power plant. I introduce myself to the manager with my business card. Even for an impromptu visit, I'm greeted with the usual protocol.
The archipelago of Japan is located in the Pacific Ring of Fire. Japan's geothermal potential is the third largest in the world, after the United States and Indonesia. By the time the exploitation of geothermal energy had reached a certain level, the state cut subsidies which delayed development. But since the earthquakes of 2011, renewable energies have been revalued, and we see the situation gradually changing.
Volcanism also offers other benefits to mankind. The Japanese love onsens, baths fed by hot springs from the depths. The sign blocking my path is quickly dealt with. Fortunately, in this mandatory break, I find an onsen. Right by the women's locker room, I discovered that I'm not the only one who wants to enjoy the warm waters in the middle of nature. A young Japanese boy shares the bath with me.
Once upon a time, a lot of them were mixed. Around the end of the 19th century, the concept of Western modesty had been imported. That's the reason why it disappeared. Mixed baths only stay in remote places like in here. Because this water contains a lot of minerals, they traditionally say that it has therapeutic virtues. Long ago, the samurai used to come to the onsens after battles to be healed.
Road samurai, I give up the delights of onsen and set out again to conquer the mountains that await me.
You're almost arrived at your destination.
I arrived at the Dewa Mountains, 3 mountains revered for the Shinto religion and Buddhism. According to the ritual, I start by visiting Mount Haguro, considered the gateway to this sacred and mysterious world. After this first step, I can go to Mount Udono, considered to be the heart of this world, but difficult to access in winter.
I took that from the temple. So nice. Really nice.
I'm meeting with a group who is about to leave for a walk in the mountains.
These clothes are called shiro shozoku. We dress in white because it's the pure color, and it's holy to go to the mountains. This is called Takao. It's to be protected from the sun. There's also thorns of plants in the mountains. And this is a heshiki that you put on to keep your backside from getting wet in the mountains. But the name also means lion fur. The monks go to the mountains for training, and they sit in the lion's seat. This outfit makes a lot of sense.
The Yamabushi, those who sleep in the mountains, are followers of the Shugendo branch of Buddhism. Whether they are monks or laymen, the practice of the mountain is for them part of their initiatory path.
We need to do some ascetic training. But first we put ourselves in an environment that prevents you from temptation. It's tough training, but the most important thing and the most difficult part of Shugendo is trying to stay in this state and to keep that naturalness in everyday life.
As a local guide, I believe in the mountain gods, even though I'm not Yamabushi. For me, the mountain is a master that teaches me how to live. Not only the mountains, but nature itself is a god. Men are so small in front of her. Water is indispensable for humans, but it causes floods. The sun, when it's sunny, warms us up, but when it's too hot, it causes droughts. Nature for me is a master who teaches me that kind of thing.
Yamabushi or not, lake or monk, all share the same beliefs here, that nature is sacred, and the immersion of the body with nature sets the spirit free and elevates it.
Who's got the bottle of sacred sake? I gotta get the nuts out too. We also have bananas. Bananas! But bananas made in Japan.
But being Yamabushi and an ascetic in no way impedes friendliness. Quite the opposite. The magnanimous gods allow us to share their sake. Away from the mountains, I'm now approaching the sea. In Japan, they're in close proximity.
Turn right in 200 meters. Then turn left.
I heard about Shigeatsu Hatakeyama, man of the sea, oyster farmer, and at the same time a fervent defender of the mountains and the forests that cover them.
See, the shells are attached to a rope. It's a Japanese technique. We'll hang them from rafts.
The scallops will be put in the water for a year in the bay. Shigeatsu invites me to follow the fishing boat to witness the operation. Along the shoreline, he recalls the event that turned Japan upside down, which affected its coasts.
The waves of the tsunami arrived between these two islands. They were like mountains. All my facilities, to the last raft, were swept away. I find it hard to believe that just 5 years later, we were able to recover to this point. Tsunamis are the fate of the sea. We can only accept them. When it hits, you just run away. And after, you have to come back to restore life.
Shigeatsu has put these principles into practice. Starting from scratch, he put his business back on track. Even more convinced of the need to preserve nature at large.
It's a country of mountains and sea. Both are important. From the peaks of these mountains, 35,000 rivers flow to the Sea of Japan on one side or into the Pacific Ocean on the other. Thanks to plant nutrients of the forest transported by the rivers, Japan's coasts are abundant in maritime resources, whether it's fish or seashells. Without the forest, the sea wouldn't be so rich.
Mountains covered with forests, from where the rivers that feed the sea flow. In Shigeatsu, all is connected. In Japan, the mountains have been particularly preserved because they are the reservoir for water, indispensable for rice cultivation. And the forests that cover them are just as essential because deforestation deprives the water of nutrients, causes flooding, and destroys the irrigation systems.
I like seeing this water flowing abundantly. We had some red tides. Oysters were growing up poorly and sometimes died. I'd been wondering what's causing this. So I walked along the river to the source. And I found out there were so many problems, such as the dam, the pesticides used by the farmers, and the waters discharged from factories. It is the forest that purifies the water. That's why I decided to replant trees upriver.
The reforestation actions of the oyster farmer are not just a personal initiative. Thanks to him, every year more than 1,500 people are involved in reforestation and awareness-raising actions in schools. To end this journey, I've decided to visit the ruler of the Japanese mountains, the tallest volcano in the world at 3,776 meters, the famous Mount Fuji.
The destination is about 4 kilometers away.
I'm trying to get a glimpse of it between homes and power lines, but only the top of the volcano shows up. I want to get as close as I can and feel its slopes, so I have an appointment at Fuji Yoshida.
I am Yasushi.
I'm Sibylle. Nice to meet you.
Hi, I'm Kiku.
Nice to meet you.
Before we go to Mount Fuji, I suggest we visit this temple to say a prayer. It's for our safety before we go. Sibylle, have you got a coin? You toss the coin. Again.
From the temple, with Yasushi and Kiku, the 2 mountain guides, we go to the start of the trek at an altitude of more than 1,000 meters.
Sibylle, have a look at the map. We're here now. This is the 5th station. Maybe we'll set up our tent here. In winter, few people climb the Mount Fuji.
Why?
Because it's hard. Mount Fuji is dangerous in winter. The risks must be considered. Only experienced hikers are allowed to come here.
In good company with Yasushi and Kiku, I do not hesitate to try the adventure.
Mount Fuji, for us Japanese, is a very special mountain. For a long time, it had been the object of all sorts of worship and draws for hikers.
We have the privilege of being alone on the slopes of the dormant volcano above the earth. How about here for the camp?
I think we'll set up tents down there, where there's a flat spot. There is no danger of avalanches here.
Setting up his bed on Mount Fuji is certainly one of the biggest luxuries of my trip in Japan.
Dinner's almost ready. I think the weather will be fine tomorrow.
The moon greets me at dawn and shares with me the expectation of her neighbors rising.
Today, there's a lot of wind. Climbing to the top can be very dangerous. We'll see how far we can go. Let's go.
I know in these moments why I love the mountains so much. when it's windy and the slow effort of the climb is in full communion with Fuji. We crossed the 7th station, Tori, at an altitude of 3,000 meters that will sadly seal our ascension.
There's a lot of wind at the top. It would be very difficult and dangerous to move forward. It's a shame, but I think we should stop and get off.
Thank you.
Arigato.
Good job. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Kiku, thanks a lot. Fuji will keep its share of mystery, protected by the winter winds. The powerful nature of the mountains reminds me that its law is above the law of men. These heights gave me the impression I have lived in Japan, a trip in space, time and soul. For the mountains of Japan, where man invites himself, he never forgets this is the link between earth and sky. Whether they are religious, elders, oyster farmers, or sake makers, all of them reminded me of what we've all forgotten. Nature is a mysterious place, both dangerous and nurturing, a sacred place.